My wife's secret child got exposed when I overheard her secret phone call. She tried to gaslight me into forgiving her, but I have a better plan. Hey there, guys, Zara here, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Tea Time with Zara. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. Hey everyone, I've got a pretty wild family situation unfolding, and I need to get it off my chest. I'm George, a 58-year-old father-in-law to Michael, who's 32. My wife, Evelyn, is Michael's mother, and we've been married for a good 35 years. I thought I knew her inside out, but recently things have been getting weird, and it's all centered around this huge secret that's come to light. So, this all started when I accidentally overheard Evelyn on the phone. She was in the other room, and her voice was tense, almost angry. She was talking about a child, and the whole conversation seemed super hush-hush. When I asked her about it later, she brushed it off, saying it was just a wrong number. But something didn't sit right with me. A few days later, I was looking for some paperwork in her desk and found this hidden drawer. Inside, there was an old photograph of Evelyn holding a kid I've never seen before. I mean, I know all our family photos, and this kid was definitely not a relative I knew of. I brought it up with Michael, but he was as clueless as I was. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was up, so I did something I'm not proud of. I followed Evelyn when she went out one afternoon. She met with this young man, probably in his 20s, and I swear, he looked so much like her, it was uncanny. I confronted him after Evelyn left, and the guy was clearly nervous. He ended up confessing that he's Evelyn's son, Alex, from an affair she had years ago. I was floored. I promised Alex I'd keep his secret for now. I needed time to think about what to do next. But Evelyn's no fool. She started acting strange, like she knew I was onto something. She's been trying to cover her tracks, and I can tell she's worried. The trust I had in my wife is pretty much gone. I feel like I'm living with a stranger, but I've kept my mouth shut because I don't want to blow up our family's life with this scandal. Then, just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I found these letters hidden away. They were from Alex's father, and they made it clear that Evelyn had blackmailed him to stay out of their son's life. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place here. I've got a secret son-in-law and a wife who's not the person I thought she was. What the heck do I do with this mess? Update 1. Well, I didn't expect to be making this so soon, but here we are. I've been wrestling with a decision that's been eating me up inside. It's about whether or not to tell my son Michael about his half-brother Alex. This whole mess started when I overheard a phone call and found a photo of my wife Evelyn with a child I didn't recognize. Turns out she had an affair years ago, and Alex is the result. Evelyn's been acting weird lately, probably because she suspects I know something. She's been trying to seduce me, which isn't like her at all. I guess she's trying to distract me from my suspicions. But I can't shake off the feeling that something's not right, so I've been resisting her advances. This, of course, has only made things more tense between us. I met with Alex again to learn more about him. He's had a rough life without his dad around. Hearing his story, I couldn't help but feel protective over him. It's like he's the son I never had, even though Michael is my actual son. I've started to secretly help Alex out with money here and there. It's the least I can do, considering the hardships he's faced. But Evelyn, she's something else. She's been planting doubts in Michael's mind, making him think I'm being unfaithful. It's a clever move, driving a wedge between me and my son. And it worked. Michael confronted me about this alleged infidelity, and we had a huge falling out. It's like I'm losing my family over a secret that isn't even mine. With all this going on, I've become even more protective of Alex. Evelyn's lies are getting more elaborate, and her control over the family is starting to slip. I can see it, but I'm not sure if Michael does. He's caught up in the web she's spun. The other day, Michael saw me with Alex. He doesn't know who Alex is, and from the look on his face, I could tell he thought the worst. He thought Alex and I were having an affair. I can't even begin to describe how messed up the situation has become. So here I am, feeling isolated and betrayed by my own family, all because of a secret that was never mine to keep. I'm trying to do the right thing, but it seems like every move I make just makes things worse. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. It's like I'm living in a house of cards, and it's about to come tumbling down. Update 2. Thank you for all the advice. Guys, I never thought I'd be back here with more drama, but my life's turned into a soap opera. So Michael, my son, just confronted me about what he thought was an affair I was having. It was intense. He was yelling, accusing me of betraying the family, and I just lost it. In a moment of pure frustration, I blurted out the truth about Alex being his half-brother. Michael was floored. He couldn't believe it. He stormed out to confront Evelyn, his mother, about Alex. Evelyn, as always, played dumb. She acted like she had no idea what Michael was talking about. She's good at this game, too good. She managed to twist the whole situation, making it seem like I was the one tearing the family apart with lies. Michael, confused and hurt, bought into it. I could see the trust in his eyes fading away. I felt cornered, like everything I did just made things worse. So I decided to back off, to stop pushing the truth on them. Meanwhile, Alex, the guy who's been caught in the middle of all this, felt so guilty about the chaos he was causing in our family that he thought about leaving town. He didn't want to be the reason for our family falling apart. Evelyn, seeing that her plan was working, doubled down on manipulating Michael. She was always whispering in his ear, making sure he saw me as the bad guy. It was like she was tightening a noose around our family, and I was the one suffocating. I started to pull away from everyone. I skipped family dinners, missed birthdays. It was just too painful to be there. Watching Evelyn play the doting wife and mother while knowing what she had done. It was like I was slowly becoming a ghost in my own home. But then something changed. Michael started to pick up on the little things that didn't add up in Evelyn's stories. He's a smart kid, and he began to question the narrative she was feeding him. And then he found it. A stash of money and papers that linked Evelyn to Alex's father. It was the proof he needed that her story didn't hold water. I don't know what's going to happen next. Michael hasn't confronted me or Evelyn about his discovery yet. I'm just here, trying to figure out my next move, while everything I care about crumbles around me. It's like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I have no idea when or where it's going to happen. Update 3. Guys, you won't believe the latest drama in my family saga. So my dad, George, has been super down lately. Like he's been totally withdrawn and not himself at all. I didn't know what was up, but I had my suspicions about my mom, Evelyn. I started digging into her past, and man, the stuff I found, she's been lying about so many things for years. While I was playing detective, I had no idea that Dad was feeling so alone. He thought I still believed Mom's lies about him having an affair. But the truth was, I was slowly uncovering her web of deceit. It's like every stone I turned, there was another lie underneath. Out of the blue, Alex, this guy who's supposedly my half-brother, reaches out to Dad. He's worried because Dad's been acting so off. I guess Alex didn't realize that Dad didn't know I was starting to see the truth. Then, in the weirdest twist, I bumped into Alex at a coffee shop. It was super awkward at first, but then I just blurted out that I knew who he was. We ended up talking for hours. Turns out we've both been on the receiving end of Mom's manipulation. It was kind of a bonding moment, you know? Meanwhile, Mom must have felt us slipping away from her control because she started planning this big, over-the-top family event. It was so obvious she was trying to pull us back in with her grand gestures. And get this, Dad got this creepy anonymous note about someone knowing he's been helping Alex financially. It freaked him out, and he wouldn't tell me about it, but I could tell it shook him. Alex and I decided we had to confront Mom together. We needed to hear her side of the story, even though we pretty much knew she'd been lying all along. But before we could do that, Dad made this shocking decision to leave the house. He was packing his bags when Alex and I showed up. We had to stop him and tell him we knew everything, that we believed him and not Mom. It was super emotional, and I could see the relief in his eyes. We're all in this mess together now, but at least we're a team. It's us against Mom's lies. I never thought I'd be in this position, but here we are. Wish us luck. Last update. Guys, you won't believe the family drama I've been dealing with lately. So there we were, the three of us. Me, my dad George, and this guy Alex, who turns out to be my half-brother from my mom's affair. We're sitting in the living room, and it's like you could cut the tension with a knife. We're talking about everything: the lies, the secrets, and what we're going to do about it all. It's super emotional, and we're all trying to keep it together. We decide that we have to confront my mom, Evelyn, but we're not going to let on that we're all on the same page now. My mom, she's been acting all weird lately, like she knows something's up. She's been poking around, asking questions, trying to figure out what we're up to. But we play it cool, pretend like everything's normal. We set up this meeting with her, and it's like we're just having a regular family get-together. But as we're talking, we start dropping these little hints about what we know. We're watching her closely, and I can see she's getting nervous, her eyes darting around, her hands fidgeting. She starts to lose it, her usual confident self just crumbling right there. We lay it all out, the blackmail, the lies, everything we've found out. And she tries to deny it at first, but then she sees we're not buying it. She tries to play us against each other, saying things like, "George, you never understood me." Or, "Michael, you're just confused by all this," but we don't fall for it. We're solid, and she can see that. Finally, she breaks down and admits to everything. She's crying, saying she thought she'd be kicked out of the family for sure. And then, just when we think this whole mess is coming to an end, my dad drops another bombshell. He's been recording the whole conversation. We're all shocked, and before we can even process this, Alex suddenly collapses. He's clutching his chest, and he's in serious pain. It's like everything just stops, and we're all freaking out, not knowing what to do next. And that's where I'm at right now. I can't even believe this is my life. What a mess.